This is Joshua Howland with another Industrial Organizational Psychology Bootcamp video. Let's imagine you run a business and want to know the best leadership style to instill into your leaders. You start reading through LinkedIn and varying consultation sites, but the answers are inconsistent. To really get a clear answer that isn't socially driven, we must do some proper research to understand how different leadership methods work in different environments. Let's talk about why defining the best leadership practice methods, the best engagement methods, or even presentation methods can be an immense challenge. It can be hard to understand how research comes to conclusions around certain methodologies, styles, or practices being the most effective. Social sciences, whether in the context of business or general psychology, are really challenging to measure. Let's use an example. If I'm trying to measure the effectiveness of a specific type of leadership style, I might train multiple leaders in that style, measuring the performance of employees before and then measuring the performance after. But what if the change in leadership style wasn't what caused the change in employee engagement and performance? We must consider, are the leaders we've taught this new style more engaged because they are trying something new? Task variation has been shown by studies to result in higher productivity and greater engagement. Managers tend to be in more self sufficient roles, and having direct attention on them in a new way could inspire change by itself, as we know from research that engagement with employees and their activities increases performance. Training them in a new leadership style may also inherently make them more aware of how they're leading and inspire different behaviors outside of the training itself. Is it really the leadership style, or is it something new they're trying in tandem without realizing it? Are the employees reacting to a change in leadership engagement that's brought on about the new initiative as opposed to the initiative itself? Although change can be difficult if employees just see that their leader is putting forth more effort, that alone can influence the sociodynamics of the workplace and result in changes to engagement and performance. What if we're teaching inspirational leadership style, and although the leaders implement the style, they also apply more positive psychology or strengths based leadership measures as well? They model the behavior, but they also change other behaviors without being cognizant of it. Physics, chemistry, and other areas known as the hard sciences are often seen as more difficult than the soft sciences of social studies and psychology. But that really couldn't be further from the truth. In physics, for example, we know that certain actions will cause a reaction. These are measurable and absolute. Social interactions contain millions of variables that can impact the results of any study, varying from culture, age, industry, and even unintended changes in behavior that occur because of a new initiative. You could even see changes in performance due to customers, market, or business trends that are entirely unrelated to any initiative being implemented. To measure these things, we try to quantify as many variables as possible. If we're measuring the impact of inspirational leadership style, we may survey employees about that, but we might also survey those same employees about their leaders' conscientiousness, their communication style, their directness, adaptability, integrity, empathy, or even accountability as secondary variables. We may find after the training that for some leaders the results have changed, but it's not due to effective implementation of the training, but rather another change they've made within how they interact with the team now that they're being observed. We've learned something, but maybe it wasn't the conclusion we expected. We might take common performance trends year over year to offset the impact of those variables. If we know the market slows down in July and performance tends to be lower or slower, we need to measure performance changes in reference to those variables. As an example, if performance typically drops 10% from June to July due to market factors, and we see that in other teams, then a 5% drop in performance would be considered a positive impact from the initiative we implemented to roughly a 5% increase in overall performance and engagement. Now, if we're running a study in one business, we also must factor if the cultural variables of the area are a consideration. Does this leadership style work here because of cultural factors, or will it work everywhere? Does it only work with white collar workers in the tech industry, for example, and that specific workplace culture, or can it be extrapolated to other industries? That means when we're studying something like social change or leadership style, we need to also measure every other variable that impacts performance of the organization. We need control groups who are not emulating the style to act as a buffer for misunderstanding. It's why the field of industrial organizational psychology is so important, and why utilizing proven methods when assessing the effectiveness of training, of different leadership styles, and of hiring practices is integral to business success. We can only be as excellent as the methods we put forward in our business practices. So I ask you, what is something that you maybe changed in how you lead or changed in your business that you saw create a change in overall performance? What other factors outside of that change and what you were intending to produce might have influenced the results at the end? And are there other factors that may have resulted, whether positively or negatively, in a difference in the results that you achieved versus the expected results? Once again, this is another Industrial Organizational Psychology Bootcamp. Thank you so much for watching.